We began this project by pondering what kinds of polls would constitute a more universal approach to happiness, rather than Western concepts of what constitutes happiness. For this reason, we chose to use data from the Gallup World Poll as a proxy for happiness. The poll posed the question to measure civic engagement within individual countries: are you satisfied or dissatisfied with your freedom to choose what you do with your life? Although the question may sound Western oriented, it is actually a very universal approach to understanding if individuals are satisfied with the amount of freedom their individual governments give them. In other words, the Gallup World Poll hinges on a subjective measurement of satisfaction within specific countries. After deciding to use the Gallup World Poll as a proxy for happiness, we wanted to understand what factors play into lower or higher individual perception of freedom to choose. Since the Gallup World Poll is a subjective measurement of happiness, we decided to compare how two unique factors, which constitute greater citizen control over their government, affects happiness. The first factor was a measurement of government effectiveness, and the second factor was a measurement of civil liberties. We predicted that since government effectiveness is a universal measurement of citizen control over government, higher government effectiveness would lead to higher happiness, or freedom to choose what individuals can do with their lives. We also predicted that since civil liberties are a Western measurement of citizen control over government, not a universal measurement, this factor would not be a good indicator of happiness. The results indicate our hypothesis to be correct. We started by evaluating the relationship between government effectiveness and happiness. The x-axis is government effectiveness. Government effectiveness is a subjective measure of the quality of public service, civil service, policy formulations and implementation, and the government's credibility and independence from politics. The y-axis measures happiness through citizens' satisfaction with the amount of control they have over their personal lives and the government. Each dot represents an individual country, with 139 countries represented on the chart. Colors indicated Freedom House's qualitative ranking for civil liberties. Blue is free, yellow is partly free, and green is not free. The chart spans the years from 2010 to 2014. As a result, we found there is no correlation between civil liberties and happiness. This is also true when the only civil liberty evaluated is freedom of the press. Freedom of the press was evaluated separately because it is a measure of government transparency and knowledge that citizens have of the outside When looking
world.
at the graph,
This
it is
allows
easy
citizens
to see
within a
that
country
there
to
is
compare
no
their
correlation
regime
between
with regimes
civil
throughout the rest
liberties
of the world
or freedom
if
of the
they
press
truly have
and
freedom of the
happiness,
press.
because every government, or no wait. After evaluating the data from civil liberties and freedom of the press, we noticed that almost all of the countries that were evaluated were deemed to be happy. This means that there were only 8 countries out of the 138 countries measured that did not qualify as having a majority of their citizens being happy with the way that their government runs, which shows that civil liberties and freedom of the press are not an indicator of happiness.